Good morning, friends. This is your President Raghavinder Das. We've been touching the issue of resumption, which is a very delicate issue. And I would only, before starting of this video, would tell my friends who are watching my videos, who've been following me, please make your neighbor subscribe my videos. Please let anybody within these cantonments know about these videos. We can create an awareness by watching these videos. Once we are educated, then we can talk, we can actually share our problems. Till we are uneducated, we will always be apprehensive of talking to our neighbor because we are ourselves not confident. So today I am going to talk on the resumption notice, which is generally issued by the Under Secretary, Ministry of Defence, or at the behest of the station commander or the DO locally of your cantonments. Now, what do we do once we get this notice or we get a performer notice? Do we need to reply it? How do we deal with it? These are some very basic questions which come into our mind. What are the laws which govern this notice while issuing it? And does what I'm trying to say is, does your state fall within the purview of the Defence Estate Officer or not, as per the 1938 CLA rules? So these issues have to be addressed. Let's begin one by one. The applicability of the Governor General Order, which is the Bible of this. If you remember in the performer notice comparison, I had said that they will write which is the GGO which is applicable to you. So either of the any GGOs, whether for Bombay Presidency, for Madras or for Bengal, we have to understand whether this GGO, which under the authority I am being resumed, was that GGO ever notified for my cantonment? Because there are so many GGOs from 1798 till the last GGO number 268 of 8th September 1868. So a huge gap, some more than about 70-75 years of Governor General orders. Now, I'll just read you a section 1110, which clearly says that my estate or mahal or bungalow or a quarter at any cantonment of these 57 shall be allowed to be sold or occupied by a person to an army officer. Shall be allowed? No, it shall not be allowed. This is what I wanted to see. When there was very clear orders that under section 1110 that no bungalow would be sold to anybody other than this. Now let's say under section 111 it said that there was a mahal or a bungalow or a estate purchased by a native or an individual who had nothing to do with the army. It has very clearly said he must be removed and this entire land must be appropriated for the use of the army. So when from 1798 such clear instructions, then how does the GGO become applicable on me? We will talk in this coming, the applicability. The second issue what comes up in my mind is, most of us don't know that we presume that we are under the cantonment boundary pillars. We are right, we are under the cantonment. But boundary pillars, we are all under the cantonment boundary pillars. But did we ever know that there were military boundary pillars also? And what were these military boundary pillars? Where have they been defined? Who is to be the custodian of these military boundary pillars? Friends, this is where I am going to talk of a book and its chapter called Custody of Lands, Appendix 10. On page 134 and 35 in Rule 12 of the Army Regulation number 410, Volume 2, it has shown a map which clearly says how these boundary pillars have to be made. And after keeping these boundary pillars, then another rule on page para 13 itself of rule 10 says that what is the distinction between these cantonment boundary pillars and military boundary pillars. Where are these? And what do you write these? MBPs for military boundary pillars, CBP for cantonment boundary pillars. Now, Army Regulation 1898 very clearly in Rule 3 has said that no military land, whether within cantonment limits, forming part of military encamping grounds, otherwise held for military purpose, will be a part of CBP. Now, this is very important. It says cantonment limits are outside. So, they are not a part of the MBPs. So, now you have to ask a question whether your estate, mahal or bungalow or property was within the military boundary pillars. Was it a military land? And if it was, then the applicability of GGO comes. But if it was on the cantonment boundary pillars, then do we deem to say that it was a civil area, which was neither notified prior to 1938. Moving further to this, there was an House Accommodation Act Bill of 1898. Again in that bill, in section 5, subpara 5, it was very clearly presumed if we have to make this bill effective, we will presume that all lands within the cantonment boundary pillars are owned by a government. But on the contrary, if somebody is able to prove and show his sale deeds prior to the formation of the cantonment, he shall be demarcated as a private property or a private land. This bill was notified on 5th November 1898. So, the rights of soils were again a subject of matter, and they were left in this because no grants were forthcoming. So, these are how the Britishers bifurcated these cantonments into two parts. Now, coming to the third point, when you are applying this notice, is you have to ask if you were a grant. So, under the Army Regulation 52 of 1898, the grant of a site had to be of a particular dimension, a particular size which has been assigned as per the rules or the Code Regulation of Public Works Department 1858, which rebrushes the original code of 1810, Regulation 20. It says that the grant had to be of some particular size. Even the Army Regulation of 1898 in its Rule 56-57 says, which is the second part of this very doing, that when there is a military grant within the military cantonment, it must be registered by whom? By the cantonment magistrate. Now, there is nobody called military magistrate, there is a cantonment magistrate. Where is that grant registered? Where is that grant registered? And then after registering, it has to be written on the plan of the cantonment. Not available. So, these are the questions you need to ask before going in for the notice. Now, coming to if you are owning all your sale deeds are in your possession, which I had said, where will you find your land records? Now, 1864 section 10, 1889 Cantonment Act section 28 very clearly has defined that the cantonment magistrate till 1924 was the sub-registrar of the sub-district. Now, what do you mean by the sub-registrar of the sub-district? Is again that, let's say my cantonment is Ambala, the main district is Ambala, and Ambala cantonment is a sub-district. So, where are these sale deeds? And prior to the 1882 TPA Act, under which act these sale deeds were being registered, we will be talking in our coming videos. But there was a Registration Act of 1877. There was a Governor General way back of 1808. So, these are various things which very clearly accepted that private properties were in existence within the military cantonments. So, what are we trying to say? If you go back and see Rule 6, and sub-rule 6, which very clearly says the words cantonment and military cantonments had initially the connotation of a place where the military and their followers and families were quartered, and there were no private interest in land, excluding the buildings, subsisted. It acquired a new meaning. How it acquired? When the municipalization of these cantonments started taking place after the 1889 when the house tax was 1880 when the house tax was imposed. I had talked of a house property register of 1833 of the GGO. So these are some questions which you need to ask when you are actually replying back to the resumption notice issued, by countering and saying that whether you are a grant within the military boundary pillars, outside the military boundary pillars, and then whether a private property, these are the sale deeds which you are mentioning, registered under so and so, and these are the laws of various registers. Moving to these laws from 1833, how land records were being kept. 1864, the sub-registrar powers came, and further on the various acts of 1889, then the cantonment codes of 1889 and 1912, further the CLA rules of 1925, 1937. Now you will be very surprised that section 266, 273 and 274 of Cantonment Code 1912, subsequently of even Cantonment Code 1889, very clearly said all lands which do not belong to the government. Now what does this mean? There is going to be a separate register, there is going to be a plan. So where are all these documents? So this is where we need to say. Now when we were making the GLR as per the rules in 1925, 456, it is very important to read the Schedule 3. This is that same cantonment land register which I had shown. It very says that all GLRs have to be testified every 5 years. Now if you come to the same rule, under Rule 4 it says if I am a Category 3 land, there are no rights, I am a private land of the cantonment authority. It's only subjected to 3 duties, that is taxation, building safety and sanitation. Similarly in 1937, Rule 4 says, again Category 3 lands. So if I am subsequently being said from 1808 that they were private bungalows or estates or mahals, would we put it to lands? Now somewhere you come up and say that these are only private bungalows or the houses. No, how can it be? So there are so many things which come. Now this GLR which had to be prepared under 1937, again in Rule 10, subsequent to Rule 45 and 46, the GLR had to be prepared. Where is that? And last and foremost, I would say, these are subsequent questions which I am asking you, and you can always come back to me. I shall make your reply if there is a resumption notice. There is nothing much to be scared of this resumption notice. Now, what I had said in my vision theory also. Now, after even all these questions, we must come up and even say this in our reply, that if you want my bungalow or estate or mahal for specific defense purpose, I am willing to relinquish my rights, but I shall only relinquish my rights as per the rules. It has been said in the GGO 1809 that if there was any private lands within the cantonment, they must be acquired. It further in House Accommodation Act Rule 14 said that there will be a private negotiation and the bungalow would be purchased. Even if we go back to Regulation 8 of the GGO 179 itself, again the suffix says you will purchase my bungalow, and it has to be simultaneously. Coming to the section 27 of the cantonment laws manual, again in 1864 and various sections 22, 110 and 124, it says that my land needs to be acquired. So friends, we must understand while making the reply to this notice, what are we saying, what are we speaking. So for all this, we need our registries in hand. I will be obliged if bungalow owners who have been issued resumption notice, which as per the SK Bose committee, some 94 bungalow owners are yet under resumption. If any of them is fighting, if any of them is willing, I can draft their reply. Call me back, talk to me, don't be hesitant. Thank you. Good day.